Before we begin, I know that we have been inundated with tragedy these past several months, but I want to address one particular tragedy, a grave injustice that claimed a life, but that resonates in so many ways across the threads of our history into the present day. By now, many of us have seen that harrowing footage of Ahmaud Arbery and out on a jog in a beautiful day in February in Florida and in Georgia, shot down in cold blood, a sense lynched before our very eyes, 2020 style, lynched so plainly, unmistakably, without mercy. He would have turned 26 years old tomorrow, and his family and the country deserves justice, and they deserve it now. They deserve a swift, full, and transparent investigation into this brutal murder, but our nation deserves it as well. We need to reckon with this. This goes on. These vicious acts call to mind the darkest chapters of our history, and more recently, the awful specter of white supremacists on the march in Charlottesville, Virginia, of massacres in house of worship, of a rising pandemic of hate. When I announced, I said I was running to restore the soul of America. Well, you know, Ahmaud should be alive today. We have no recourse. We have no recourse for the life he lost, but we can make this promise and do it together. And we recommit America to equal justice, but this time to root out racial inequities, gender inequities, income-based inequities. All within our system. It's still the African-American mothers and fathers should feel confident that their children are safe walking on the streets in America. Until we get there, the work remains urgent and unfinished. This is the promise I make to you all and to everybody across America. As president, I will work tirelessly to get us to that day. Look, I know this is an anxious, difficult moment for our communities, for our nation, and quite frankly, for the world. I hope that all of you, your families, your constituents, and members are staying safe and healthy as we take this on. You know, you more than most have been on the front lines of this crisis. You're seeing the devastating impact every single day. Americans are seeing what leadership looks like, not from the federal government, but from you, And I want to commend you for the example you're setting for service, of public leadership, civic leadership, moral leadership. Tragically, we've all seen, and I've been speaking about this every chance I get, that the impact of this crisis on African-American communities is disproportionately heavy, as the senator pointed out. 6 times more people dying in the African-American community. 3 to 4 times more people in the African-American community getting sick. African-American workers are losing their jobs, as was pointed out, at a higher rate than white workers. This disease is magnifying some of the worst systemic inequities, wrenching those gaps even wider. And it's shining a bright light on the structural racism that plagues our lives, plagues our laws, our institutions, and our culture. We need an overwhelming moral response to right the wrong, to heal the fissures in our society, to close these gaps, not only to get us through this crisis, but to resurrect America, restore its soul like where it's never been, in a way that reflects our values. That idea is at the heart of my campaign. And this week, we released a comprehensive agenda for Black America, a plan that seeks to create equality and rip out the roots of systemic racism, working across a wide range of policy areas to ensure that Black Americans are fully dealt in on the economy and society that emerges from this moment on. I hope we'll all get a chance to read our plan. I know you know it inside and out. To help us pursue that goal, I know you have some questions for me. I'll just say thank you for all that you're doing to lead with dignity. And thank you for sharing your thoughts with me today. A concluding comment before we get into questions. You know, I think that the blinders have sort of been ripped off the American public. They're now seeing exactly, without having thought about it before, many of them, not because they're prejudiced or they don't care, they just didn't know, a lot of them. And now they're finding out that the people who are saving their lives and their families' lives are hard-working people. Many of them, a significant number of minorities and minority Black primarily. And so I think they're ready for some real change. America's the only nation in the world that when we've gone through a major crisis, we've almost always been able to get through it and come out stronger. So I'm hopeful. I'm going to need you if we win. I'm going to need you to help this time rebuild the backbone of this country, the middle class, but this time bring everybody along, regardless of color, sexual preference, their backgrounds, whether they have any, just bring everybody along. We can do this. We can. And I think the country's ready. But I'm talking too much. I apologize. I get a little wound up in this because I feel strongly about it. I know you do too. So